Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending today. It's 9:59. I'll start sharp at 10 o'clock, is to respect your time to be on. So everyone's in listen only mode right now. If you do have questions or comments, please put those in the chat. And then I will be following up with everybody today afterwards to get your takeaways for this. Always looking for feedback on the content, as well as what we can do better to provide value. So thank you, everybody, for attending. 9:59. We'll just hold on here for a second and get started. All right, as promised, it's 10 o'clock. Again, thank you for attending. Always start on time to respect you being on time. Again, all lines are on mute. The goal for this call is to be about 30 minutes. If you have questions, comments, please put them in the chat box and we'll get back to those. And I want to start with, it's very important that I would love today for everybody on the call to come away with 2 actionable items that you can apply to your business. We're investing our time. We're not talking to clients. We're not doing the fundamentals of our business. It's very difficult to work on the business and in the business at the same time. So just like your clients invest money with you, they expect a return. You're investing time with us. And if I were you, I would expect a return as well. So let's come away with 2 actionable items from everybody on this call. I do 3 webinars a month. I do one that is product specific, fundamental but boring. I do another one on marketing, which is fundamental and a little more fun. And the third one I do, that's this one here, and this is my favorite. It's human nature. It's about the people we connect with. And I truthfully believe that that's the difference between ultra uber successful advisors and those that sometimes struggle to find their way. So we're helping people. We connect with people. And so I love the human nature aspect of this. And so always my favorite one to do. So brief introductions. My name is Chad Barthel. I have 20 plus years in the financial services industry. I have always worked on the carrier side. I have a great affinity for those of you that are out there as individual financial advisors. You're the CEO, you're the CFO, you're the janitor, you're marketing, your sales, your compliance. You do it all. And that's a very, very difficult job to take on. And so what I take from my role is that I am here to connect you with a bunch of different resources and make sure that your business runs efficiently so you can grow it, you can scale it, and you can still live a healthy, happy life with your family. So take that job very seriously. I only make a little when you make a lot. So I want to connect you to the right carriers, to the right products, to the right people. So let's engage. Let's really dig into your business. And just like your clients have the choice of 100,000 advisors to choose from, you have a lot of IMO partner choices as well. So I'd ask you on this call, benchmark. Are you getting what you want from your IMO? Are you getting what you need from your IMO? There are different horses for different courses, is one of my sayings. So there's always a chance, there's always an idea that we may have something different going on. And I would really like to engage with you to make sure that you're getting the maximum return for the efforts that you put in. On the call with me today is, sorry, I'm losing my spot here a little bit. I'm honored today to be joined by Miss Lori Seaton. Lori is the head of marketing enablement at North American, where she helps advisors navigate evolving markets and brings practical advice to advisors with ready strategies. She has nearly 20 years in the financial services industry, and she's a recognized thought leader on annuities, retirement confidence, and the changing dynamics of wealth. She's also an active contributor to industry organizations and professional communities. She was just in California this weekend speaking at an event. So very honored to have her on the call today. And Lori, I really want to say thank you because you moved your schedule around a couple different ways to accommodate this. And so thank you so much for that. I'm going to level set the meeting with this and start out with a little quiz. And I did tell Lori, I usually don't tell Lori or people that I'm going to do this, but we sit right now as a financial services industry on the precipice of the largest wealth transfer that this country's ever seen. according to various different sources, there's $84 trillion of wealth controlled by baby boomers that is going to be passed down to their heirs and to charities in the next 20 years. That's $84 trillion. And I think sometimes, a lot of times, we lose the perspective of the million, the billion, the trillion. So Lori, here we go. Here's our bar bet. I'm going to give you $1 every second on the second until you have $1 million. So in 60 seconds, you have $60. In 5 minutes, you have $300. How many days, weeks, months is it until I've given you $1 million?
Oh my goodness, you're going to start with a math question for me.
Just guess, because it gets harder. Just guess.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to go with, you want how many days?
Days, months, is it years?
Oh gosh. Oh, it's definitely years. Yeah.
12 days. Lori.
Yeah, I'm going to say two.
It's 12
what?
days. It's 12 days.
12 days? 12 days?
If I give you $1 every second on the second until you have $1 million, it's 12 days. Now you know that, okay? We're not done.
My actuarial friends are going to be mad. Okay.
Same bet. I'm going to give you $1 every second on the second until you have $1 billion.
Okay.
So now you know it's 12 days for $1 million. How long am I giving you that dollar?
Yep. Oh gosh, another actuarial question. Gosh, I sound so dumb here, but I'm going to say,
Lori,
go ahead.
It's 32 years. That's the difference between $1 million and $1 billion.
32 years. Wow. That's
Final
incredible.
question. Same scenario. How long until you have $1 trillion?
Well, 60?
32,000 years.
32,000 years.
So now that we've level set that perspective, think about this. $84 trillion will be transferred in the next 20 years from baby boomers to their heirs. Do you think that there's opportunity in the marketplace? It is robust.
Huge.
It is robust. And the tax strategies behind that, the RMD strategies behind that, the products behind that, the way to transfer that wealth is complicated, it's convoluted, and it takes expertise. That's the technical expertise. So there are so many moving parts in this industry to get right that when you get it right, there is gold in them there hills, as I would say. So level setting the technical, let's move to the personal. Let's move to the clients. Let's engage with people. How do you get this message out there? Who are you speaking with? How do you position that in the marketplace? And so again, there's the technical skills, there's the marketing skills, and there's the human skills. And that's why I am so pleased at this point to turn it over to Lori for her work, her effort, and her knowledge in marketing to women and wealth. I will not stomp on your presentation with the fact that caught my attention the most, but Lori, you know what it is. And I'm going to leave it in your capable hands in this presentation. So thank you very much for allowing me to engage. And by the way, I blew that math question all the time, and you can win a couple beers in a bar with a bar bet with that. So thanks for level setting that. Again, trillions of dollars are out there to be rolled over, people. Let's make sure that we're talking about it in the right way to the right people. So Lori, with that, thank you, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad, and thanks, Dimes, for having me here. Very excited to be here. And as you all know, I'm not here to talk about actuarial or math. So let's just dig into some of that connection. Chad, you just set it up perfectly, because I actually want to start with a bit of a story. I actually started out in financial services working for an advisory firm. And not long after I started, I met a couple named Jack and Diane, not Mellencamp's Jack and Diane. Everyone asks that, but a Jack and Diane in their later years. And I actually met Jack first. He was the one that would come in on a regular basis and meet with the advisor. Unfortunately, I met Diane much later, right after Jack had passed away. And she walked into the office and she was grief stricken. I mean, absolutely grief stricken, of course. But what really stuck with me was what I saw in her eyes. She was truly frozen. And she kept telling me, I don't know. I don't know where our bank accounts are. I don't know how to pay the bills. She just kept saying, I don't know. Because Jack had handled all the finances with the advisor, and the only direction that he had given her was, if anything happens to me, go see the advisor. He'll take care of you. And I have no doubt what I know of Jack, but that gesture was truly out of love. But it left Diane completely lost and ill prepared because what she didn't have was a plan. And more than that, she didn't have the confidence in her own financial life moving forward. And that moment has stuck with me. It's one of the reasons that I'm passionate about what you all do, your role, your critical role in helping people like Diane prepare financially through all the ups and downs of life to turn risks into readiness. Because Diane, what she really needed, not just the love and the care, was for someone, really you, to say, let me show you the plan. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that journey that everyone hopefully will go through, from connection to confidence to connection, and really understanding her landscape and navigating those transitions that she most likely will face alone, to confidence and delivering that plan that she deserves. And the goal, of course, is to empower her to be confident in the plan. But for you, there's that outcome, right, of having more effective client relationships and setting up that relationship for the long term. So hopefully that all sounds good, and we're going to kick that off talking about connection and understanding her landscape. And Chad set it up perfectly in that she's gaining wealth. We are in an unbelievable wealth transfer in which women will be controlling more wealth in this country than ever before. Women currently control about 10 trillion in US assets, but by 2030, that number is going to jump to 34 trillion. That's an additional 24 trillion that's coming just to women in the next 7 years. And in fact, according to a recent Cerulli study, by 2048, Chad, we're going to push this even a little bit farther, a projected $124 trillion is estimated to go to women. Now, that makes the women's market not just perhaps a niche market, as it's been seen in the past, but a mass market that's worthy of all of us on this call and in the industry to take action for fear of being left behind. So why is this transfer happening? Now, there's a lot of reasons why this is happening, including that generational wealth transfer. But women are also going to college and graduating from college at higher rates than men. They're skyrocketing women-owned businesses. They're waiting longer for marriage and children, so they're having that longer career runway. And on a challenging note, gray divorce is trending. And just in general, women are living longer than men. Now, besides gaining wealth, she's also gaining influence. And this chart is actually a bit of our proprietary research that we conducted in 2024, in which we interviewed consumers and agents alike. I'm going to be pointing to some of that research throughout the presentation because it was a very comprehensive study. But what this chart is showing you really is that financial planning responsibilities are shifting over time, and that many women already are or will become their household CFO, and that trend intensifies over time. In fact, 90% of women at some point will take on sole responsibility and drive up to 80% of all consumer purchasing decisions. And that's a huge opportunity for all of us to get in the industry to serve women better and earlier. Now, an unfortunate part of this, that yes, she's gaining wealth and she's gaining influence, but yet her confidence hasn't kept pace. So we asked both men and women about their retirement goals. And for both men and women, the number one goal was alike. We all want to live comfortably because, of course, who doesn't want to live comfortably in retirement? But when we get to that second and third priority, that's where we have some shifts. And for women, their number two priority is not running out of money. And if you look at those statistics there at the top of the bar chart, that's showing almost 2/3 are worried about running out of income. And then thirdly, they're wanting to maintain that standard of living. Now, what's interesting when we asked the male counterparts as well is number two and number three were actually swapped. Men were far more concerned about maintaining that standard of living and lesser concerned about running out of income. So it's important to note that women are prioritizing sustainable income, not just their lifestyle maintenance. And that confidence gap actually persisted despite rising wealth or influence. It didn't really matter what age we looked at here or the profile of the female or the male. It was pretty consistent, that fear of running out of income being a solid number two for women. And then when it comes to retirement planning and preparedness, women are also falling behind. If you look at some of these gaps, some of them I would say are pretty striking in that women are less prepared in men in IRAs and retirement plans and having pensions, annuities, investments, and life insurance. There's quite the gap. Uh, Again, some of them are striking. Look at that 10-point gap when it comes to retirement funds, 15 points when it comes to total investments. That is a huge gap when it comes to thinking about how women are preparing for their retirement. This one always gets me, just gets me kind of down to the gut, that 43% of female retirees, they have less than $250,000 at retirement. Think about that. 43% with less than $250,000. And that really highlights that women are falling behind in the amount of investments at retirement, and that action is absolutely needed to build that foundational protection and that income. And along with that, they have unique risks, and we're going to start to dig into these throughout the webinar. But unique risks that men aren't necessarily seeing. Career interruptions and caregiving, that can reduce earnings and savings over time. Healthcare costs and long-term care costs tend to be higher for women because they do live longer. And again, that gray divorce is rising. Those later in life financial resets, those can have huge impacts on retirement confidence, obviously not just for women, but also for men. And then longevity and widowhood. Women sometimes have to plan for decades and often solo, and we'll get into that as well. And then that overall lack of confidence, this is another one that gets me down to the gut. Because it shouldn't be a surprise. They have risks that they have to prepare for. They're not necessarily prepared, and so there is this overall lack of confidence. According to our study, you can see this here, but women aged 45 to 64 are 87% more likely than men the same age to feel uncertain. Now, these challenges certainly don't mean women aren't capable of being prepared for retirement. It just means that they do need an approach that fits them. And I know Chad's made me answer some questions here, but I'm hoping the group will chime in on this one, because I want to know, are they getting the approach that fits them? And so a question for you in the chat, what do you think? What percentage of widows leave their current financial advisor within a year of their husband's death? What do you think?
So Lori, why people contemplate this and send their answer, this is the stat that drove my desire to do this webinar
Uh-huh.
by far. And I've probably given away the answer by communicating how staggering this number is. So if I haven't
Staggering.
leaned you to the answer, staggering would be the number. So
Yep.
take it away,
Well,
Lori.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and reveal that number, 80%. I mean, just think through that a little bit and think about your current client base. Maybe think about your couples that you have and the percentage there. What does that look like for you to lose 80% of that book when the husband ends up passing away? That is absolutely staggering. And I want to take it back to that story that I had shared at the beginning about, the little ditty, right, about Jack and Diane. Diane left my advisor shortly after Jack passed away. She ended up leaving for her adult son's advisor. And this is going to be my first of a few different public service announcements that if you're not having family meetings, you better get those going because in a lot of situations, those adult children can have a huge impact on where that book goes as well. But 80%. So, Chad, since you're going to engage with me here, why do you think that is? Have any guesses?
I would think that it has to do with some stereotypes and maybe some, I'll use the word and I'm going to use it because it's a harsh word, chauvinistic impressions. I think that I just think it's the approach. I'll just tell you this for an example. Married for 26 years. My wife and I have owned many cars. I've never bought one of them. I just sit there. And my wife is the skilled financial person in our finances, and it humors me to no end every time when the salesman continues to look me in the eye and ask me questions, and I just giggle. I just love the uncomfortable silence. Like, I don't know why you're talking to me. I'm not the decision maker. It kind
Uh-huh.
of sharpens them up for a little second, and then they'll look at her and they'll talk, and then they'll come back and they'll ask me another question. Never bought a car from one of those guys,
Nope,
ever.
nope,
Know your audience. Are you talking to the decision maker? Yeah, to me that's just it. It's so simple. It's so fundamental, and it's
it
the
is.
little things that blow us up. And
Yes,
80% of the advisors are losing business uh, because of that. So, are there
mm,
other things that I'm
yep,
missing, Lauren?
yep, yeah. Well, just back to your story about buying a car, I'll tell you, I'm sure that your wife has told all of her friends about those car salesmen that she will not ever go back to. And that is also a piece that we all need to be thinking about because we, women give amazing referrals. We love to share with our friends, but I tell you, we don't get the approach we want or the respect. We're going to tell our friends about that too. So, well, as it happens, New York Life Investments actually did a multi-year study on this to understand why, in essence, advisors are being fired after within such a short time, and really some of these. I mean, to your point, it's quite simple, but the numbers are also pretty staggering. Half of those surveyed said that the advisor was incapable of connecting with them on a personal level. They didn't take time for them. Almost half, 40%, said that they felt ignored or dismissed. And 62%, almost a third or two-thirds, were saying that, hey, I have unique needs, and the advisor wasn't taking the time to understand them. And I love this quote here because it's so, so important because women are not saying, sell me something. They're saying, understand me first. And that is the fundamental way to start connecting is to understand where they're at to be that partner. All right. So to be that partner and to help understand them a little bit more, let's dig into some of those financial transitions that most women will go through. They'll go through one or more financial transitions alone, and these moments are critical points for planning. I want to highlight three. Now, there are obviously more than these three, but these are the three key ones that you most likely will run into. Those caregiving transitions, gray divorce, again, and longevity and widowhood. So, in terms of caregiving, time taken out of the workforce for caregiving can have significant impacts down the road. The Department of Labor in 2023 did a whole bunch of research around this, and they really noted that, and I have one of the stats on the screen here, that college educated women lose more than $420,000 in lifetime income due to unpaid caregiving roles. And the Department of Labor actually noted that throughout all their research that they noted that all their numbers are probably in undercount because of limitations in the data, because it's very difficult to quantify the lost wages and missed advancement opportunities that women have. And then that long-term financial loss, right? Lower retirement contributions, missed employer matches, and reduced Social Security contributions. And then gray divorce. Gray divorce. So according to USA Today, the divorce rate has doubled since 1990 for Americans over 55. They've tripled for those over 65. Now that's 1 in 10 over age 65. And that means that a growing share, a hugely growing share of aging adults are going to be aging alone. And that's not just a huge impact to health and well-being. Think about the staggering financial impact, dividing assets, retirement savings, healthcare costs, housing and legal expenses, and doing all of that in your later years. And then longevity and widowhood. This statistic, this gets me too, right down to the gut. 80% of women die single, and 20% of men die single. Chad, you're in a good statistical range there. Now there's no promises, but
Taking her flowers tonight.
that's right. Hey, do it, because she's most likely caregiving for you. So obviously, it doesn't always happen that way. There is that 20% that is different, but gosh, for the most part, women have to, have to prepare to stand on their own. And so I like to throw this out in the chat, but if anyone's willing to answer, or Chad maybe as well, but how old has some of your relatives lived? Have you had one that's, lived past 90, 100? I don't know what your family history is like, Chad.
My family not good. South
Oh,
Dakota,
okay.
a lot of
Not
hunting and
good, South
fishing.
Dakota.
Got cholesterol problem.
Oh gosh.
But my mother-in-law's family, she's one of five women, and she's the youngest, and she is 78, and her
Yeah,
oldest is
yeah, that's pretty
92.
good.
Yeah.
92. So think about that. And on some, calls that I've shared this with, I've had folks pipe in with, they've had a relative that lived, 103, 104. And think about that, because that is a retirement that could last 20 or 30 years or even more, and the planning that needs to go into that. It's pretty thought-provoking. And then health and long-term care. I like to throw this in because it just makes sense, right? Longer lifespans mean more years of insurance and co-pays. And then aging alone, again, 80%, that means a greater chance of needing that long-term care. And unfortunately, women are more likely to need it, and yet they're less likely to have planned for it. And that's really where contingency planning becomes pretty crucial. You see that stat on the screen there. Women make up 70% of residents at residential care communities. It just, again, it just solidifies the need for really careful planning. And I also like to pause here because, Chad, state planning. Nobody's doing a very good job at this. We need to do better. Again, not just women, but also men. But look at these stats. I mean, 29% of women have a will, 9% have a trust, 58%, almost 60% of women lack any estate planning documents at all. And so while many women have had conversations about these issues, guardianship, executiveship, only 30% complete them. And so that's really an opportunity for everyone on the call and again in the industry to move those conversations from intention to execution. All right, let's dig into our last section here. Let's talk about that confidence because this is where she's going to lean in when you're saying, you know, here's your plan. Let's take a look at it. Now I'm just going to move through this pretty quickly because I suspect most of you on the call has your own process. But this is where you can really create a repeatable roadmap that shows her that you're together through every single step of her journey. This is where that you can move her from, hey, I get you, I understand you, to I have a plan and I'm here for you for the long term. And so you're going to start, of course, with today's priorities, her guaranteed income. Where is this coming from? You know, her income, her insurance. How is she going to manage her cash flow? All of these items are so crucial to start with. And then you can move into what could happen, right? The what if preparedness, long-term care, divorce, widowhood, and all of those different planning pieces. And then we're going to move into lifestyle, right? What does she want it to look like? Now that you've had today's priorities figured out and the what ifs figured out, what's the lifestyle that she wants to have? Does she want to travel? Does she want to, you know, give money to family or a charity that she's invested in? Or what kind of flexibility does she want? And then that legacy, right? So important. Again, back to the estate planning. Again, starting second PSA on getting those family financial meetings started. What does that look like? And then leading and ending with confidence, right? Having those repeatable milestones that you're continually involving her with, that's going to help build her confidence. And that roadmap lets her adjust course without being fearful of whatever is in front of her. And it's a reminder that your role is not just to start the journey, it's to travel it with her, because that's what women want. And I can tell you, because we asked women what they wanted, and that's what they want. They want you to travel that journey all the way through with her. If you can see here, I mean, 2/3, they want investment strategies and money management, but they also want guidance on financial planning. They want updates about their personal financial plan. They want tax and estate planning advice, and then they want an overview of annuity options that are available to them. This is what they want. They want you to travel the journey with them and be there throughout. We also asked women what qualities they're looking for, and I really like to share the screen because when we talk about what they're looking for, yes, they want, you know, demonstrated performance. They want the technical that Chad spoke to at the beginning, but they want that connection. They want you to stay connected. They want you to be a trusted ally. They want you to be strategic, of course, but they also want you to be caring, strong listening skills, respected, approachable, friendly. These are all of the attributes that women are looking for. Again, women don't want to be sold to, they want to be understood, and this really shows that consistent, clear communication is going to build that trust over years and not just in an individual meeting. So in terms of solutions that align with her values, you know, women value products that offer security, flexibility, and an understandable structure, especially when they're facing unknowns like long-term care or widowhood, making insurance strategies appealing, such as annuities with income guarantees, long-term care riders, life insurance. This is really where that positioning piece comes from. really helping her make informed Social Security and pension decisions, not just based on the math, but on life stages, right? Her survivor needs, income coordination, and then ensuring that the solutions that you're choosing are aligning with her values. Women tend to be more conservative, probably because they're going to live, much longer. They value that stability over risk, safety, and flexibility, and always going back to those financial roadmap milestones. Are the solutions aligning? Now, I know we're running out of time and we're not going to dig deep into these scenarios, but if you're on the call, I might want to take a screenshot of this, mull on it after the meeting. But these are 3 real scenarios that could walk in your door or leave you, depending on how you've built that relationship. Again, that caregiving pause, right? What does her new horizon look like, and how are you going to get to walk along that journey with her? Great divorce, my goodness, we've already talked about some of that, but helping her with those transitions and reestablishing her financial picture. And then the new widow, the ditty about Jack and Diane, poor Diane here, not sure even where her accounts are. How are you going to help her when she's fired her past financial advisor and she's coming to you for help? Those are 3 different profiles that are really bubbling up right now, and those you should be prepared to support. Now, North American, the nice thing is that annuities are built for these scenarios and can be well positioned to support women throughout their transitions. I'm not going to walk you through this piece because this is not a product conversation, but it is an important one. And I want you to be aware that this piece is available. It's called Help Her Own Her Future, and it highlights the retirement realities that women face that we've talked about today. And it shows where fixed index annuities can fit conceptually into addressing some of those needs. So again, I'm not going to walk through this today. It's not the purpose, but I want you to know that that's available. So as you're thinking through the different scenarios, client scenarios that you have, and where annuities might be appropriate, just know that this is available to help you build that confidence. Now, outside of everything we've talked about today, women can gain confidence in other ways through education and through community. We at North American have a wide variety of materials that are all facing, all in the topics that you see here: Social Security and how to help her maneuver, balance accumulation to show, how do you create that right mix of balance in terms of risk and protections. And then legacy, again, there's my 3rd and final PSA, to have those family meetings. This booklet can really help you in those conversations. And then women and wealth, we have a client-ready presentation that you can use in meetings or at seminars in whatever way that you would like to, but really digs into those risks that women are facing for retirement to help educate women. And then hosting women's specific events. These are a few that I've heard at different events that I've gone to from different advisors, and I love some of these. Bringing a friend event, I think is very, very smart, as well as a gun safety or self-defense class. I think is an excellent way to bring a group of ladies together, and organizing an event to support a local charity. I think is a great thing to do as well. So just think a little bit outside the box on how you're connecting with women. And a few of these things I know are working well with some of your peers. So to end, empathy without action is not enough, and I hope that came through in the presentation today. To rethink your language, lead with listening and understanding, deliver your plan, show it, don't just tell it, and then build confidence by reviewing, adapting, and staying connected, because you can transform a client's future one confident plan at a time.
Lori,
Thank you.
thank you so much. This is the best way that I can demonstrate to talk about the value that was delivered today. I've done a ton of these webinars. This is the only one I've ever done where we didn't have a single participant leave early. The only one.
Yes, yes,
So
I am going to take that as a win. I love that.
That's an absolute win. So the topic resonates. I want to do a public service announcement for North American as well. You have your choice of IMOs, you have your choice of carriers, you have ultimate choices. Single best customer service group I work with. When I have an issue, and issues do happen, I get an answer back fast. I have people that I can get a hold of, and that to me makes the difference a lot of times. If you have a marketer call you up today to pitch you a hot rate on something, and I get it, I'm a marketer too, and sometimes I do that. It's so much more than that. It's do you have confidence that the business is going to get issued? Do you have confidence that the distributions are going to be made? Are they correct? And I just can't throw more of an endorsement behind the relationship we have. I'm going to close with two things. It's just a minute here. But if you found value in this, I am confident you'll find value in the next offering that I'm going to put out. It's on Wednesday, February 4th. It'll be from 11 Central until 4 Central. That's called our Ascend Kickoff. We have a variety of speakers lined up, and it's headlined by a Nobel Prize winner for his work in economics. And in fact, it's around market volatility. He's actually built an indice that is cooked into an annuity that we're featuring. So that's going to be a great takeaway. We also have another speaker who is skilled and knowledgeable in tax mitigation. Going to be huge in this environment with that wealth transfer. And then last, the third keynote speaker is on the use of AI in the implementation of your business. So I'll make sure that everybody gets that invite. I'm going to close with this. We talked about, I wanted people to have 2 or 3 actionable items to walk away. And Lori, I took notes on the caregiving, the gray divorce, and the widowhood aspect. As far as the caregiving aspect goes, have a long-term care strategy. Call me and let's talk about the plans that have the best long-term care options. You're going to be dealing with clients who are in that caregiving area. It's going to be a real transition for them. They don't want to pass that on to their children. So there's solutions in that, an actionable item. Gray divorce. When people do get divorced, the finances are going to change. What's that lifestyle going to look like? People are going to need new plans on how that's going to work. And then widowhood. If you're not familiar with IRMA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount, you need to become familiar with that fast, because IRMA slams widows to no end. It's too complicated for me to talk about here in the next 30 seconds, but if you aren't familiar with IRMA, you need to get familiar with IRMA and fast, and we have a great solution. I'll wrap with the estate planning. Just so happens, yours truly is doing an estate planning webinar here in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. So I did want to recognize too that Jeff Sedlitz, and I hope I pronounced that name correct. Hey, congratulations. His dad's 88 today, so happy birthday. I think you mean it's today, but he's 88. And his grandmother passed last year at 105. So it's reality. Jeff, thank you so much for putting that in the chat. I appreciate you contributing. So with that, I don't see any other questions or comments. Lori, again, a sincere thank you. Your passion resonates through this. I will be following up with everybody on the call. This was the 30,000 foot level. There's more, but you don't get that for free. So let's have a conversation and game plan for 2026. So Lori, any closing thoughts?
Chad, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and appreciate the time.
Very much enjoyed it. Thanks everyone. Happy selling.